How's it going, guys? Max here. I would like to start out this video by asking a simple question. How do you specifically align sales and marketing? You probably have a CRM that holds the sales data, then you have a couple of spreadsheets, maybe with end of the day reports, financials, and then you have the marketing side, which would be, Hyros, Facebook Ads Manager, LinkedIn Ads Manager, etc. So what happens here is you have multiple places where data has no connection or no relationship between one another, and that it's not as easy to make decisions, specifically accurate decisions, right? If you don't know really what's happening. So in today's video, I would like to show you what we did for Business Coach Academy, one of our clients, how we recovered the last 12 months of sales and marketing data and created the alignment between sales and marketing by building multiple dashboards that specifically fit their business, right? So like I just said, when we come into your business, we take all the tools you're using. So from, let's say, HubSpot, Hyros, Stripe, we can connect these three tools to the tracking system, to the custom dashboards, and create the insane, accurate insights and alignment between anything we really want, right? So in the case of Business Coach Academy, their source of truth, I would say, is, or was, Go High Level as a CRM, right? And then they run LinkedIn ads, so LinkedIn Ads Manager, and some of the sales reps had like their own Google Sheet tracking, appointments. Essentially, that was everything. So as you can already see, that's not a good thing, right? You have multiple places where you should make decisions from. There's no relationship between another, and that will cost you money, time, and resources, right? So yeah, in this video, I'd like to show you kind of what goes into it, how do they make decisions, etc., etc. So this tracking system is separated into three different parts, right? We have the home dashboard, the marketing dashboard, sales dashboard, and a few other things, which I'm going to show you later on. Now, in terms of Business Coach Academy, their main lead generation method, I guess, is paid ads, right? Mainly LinkedIn. Now, their CPL and cost per call extremely above the average, industry average. So very good, but the problem we've seen is in between what kind of happens when we generate the lead to when they close, right? So we built this tracking system around making that decision and making sure when people, opt in, they close eventually, right? Or a high percentage of them close. So in terms of the home dashboard, here we can see, I guess, the main metrics. So when you log in, you immediately see kind of what's going on and where you stand in terms of, today, where you stand, right? So each company has different goals, different KPIs, as well as looks at different stuff. So like I mentioned before, right, every single business is different. So when we have the data, we can do anything we want. So we obviously have the revenue with a monthly goal, then we have cash collected, and then we have new members, so how many people we closed, CPA, total ad spent, etc. Then we have a cash distribution, so we have a few different types, which is a new cash. So when you close on the sales call, so the first cash coming in, that's a new cash. Then we have recurring, right? So like a monthly subscription after they finish the coaching program. Then you have a payment plan. So obviously people do not close, 10K PIF. They go on a payment plan. So payment plan payments, right? And then we have upgrades. So once you finish the coaching program, you can upgrade later on, right? So this is the cash distribution to tell you exactly what's happening and then to see the difference, right? If I was to do, let's say, like a line chart that doesn't really tell you anything, but with bar charts specifically, it's very easy to identify the difference, right? Same thing here, recurring, new, and payment plan. Right? Just a disclaimer, this is dummy data, right? Because it's private information, just to show you what they look at, right? So we have the recurring, new cash, payment plan. Again, seeing the difference right off the bat, you don't really have to think about it. Then we have the closer performance. So just very simple stats, right? How many calls they had, how many showed, offers, closes. We can go into more detail on the sales side, but it's just like a quick overview of how much they've generated as well, right? Then we have new leads, booked calls, and showed calls. So new leads, obviously, when they opt in, book call, this is including cancel, then we have showed calls. So again, it's just not about the numbers and graphs, but what does the data overall tell you? So when I log in and I see, okay, we have 13 new members, like what does that mean? Okay, I see that the monthly goal is 18, and we're below that, and it's the 27th of January. Well, it's probably not realistic to hit the goal, right? And you immediately see what's going on. Same thing here. If we're below what the last month was, it's in red. If it was above, it's in green, etc., etc. Right? And then we have the sales section, which is very nice in my opinion, based on the filter. So we have obviously this month, last 7 days, 30, 60, quarter, this year, and obviously a custom date to show you how the sales team is actually performing, right? So our KPI is 75% show rate, they're above the KPI. So boom, I immediately see that just by with colors. And I know it sounds simple, but it's those small things that just make the decision much easier, right? Then we have offer. Okay, so we're not on track with KPI. Therefore, I can go in and I can dig deep into what's actually happening on the sales side. So this is home dashboard. Then we have a marketing dashboard, which displays, I guess, the main metrics, right? So we have total ad spent, cost per call booked. So this includes canceled calls, cost per show, CPA, cash per book, and cash ROAS, right? Obviously, a lot of things happening here, but like I mentioned before, the CPL and their cost per call, super nice, but what we've seen in just like 2 weeks, a lot of people cancel, and it's either us or them, right? Which I'm going to explain right now. So first off, how much we spent in correlation, how many leads we've generated, right? So we have two y-axis just to see, how much we spent, how much was generated. But then we have opportunities. Opportunities are essentially calls, right? Call statuses. So you have live or show, depends how you, what's your terminology. Then you have a no-show, right? So someone no-shows. Then we have two types of cancels. which is canceled by the company or canceled by the prospect. And then we have booked, which I'm going to show you later on. But here, when you have a stacked bar chart, you can see the difference, right? And what we've identified is that there's so many canceled calls. And usually it's on our side or on the company side. So when they cancel a call, that means the lead is unqualified. Therefore, a lot of people, even though we have cost per lead very low, a lot of people are unqualified, right? So what do we do about that, right? Then we have lead to book and book to show, right? Because qualified calls are something different than unqualified calls or all calls, right? So there's so much stuff you can do with this. And right here, it gives you the idea, okay, so if we book 10 calls, usually just 2 of them show up, right? That's not really good. So what do we have to do in terms of marketing to make sure that doesn't happen? Then we have cost per call. So again, cost per call booked, which includes all the canceled calls. So it doesn't matter whether you're unqualified or not. How much does it cost for us to book a call? And then how much does it cost for us to, for prospect to show up on the call? And then we have campaigns, right? So like I said, they use LinkedIn ads as their lead generation. So what we look at is obviously how much we spent, how many calls we booked, cost per booked, cash per call, offers, cost per offer, closes, CPA, collected, cash ROAS, revenue, and revenue ROAS, right? Obviously, data, again, just showing one, but there's multiple campaigns. And I guess lastly, on the decision-making side, we have the sales, right? So we have, how much we've collected overall cash. Then we have a new cash, right? So like I said before, the first cash coming in on the sales call, payment plans, close deals, cash per show, and cash per offer. This is on the sales performance side, right? So you can see that entire sales team is, the average is we collecting around $2,200 or pounds per each show call, right? Then you have, again, a distribution of payment plans and new cash. Then you have new cash collected per closer, right? So just the difference between this and last month, right? Then we have a show rate, right? So last 6 weeks, kind of what's happening. So our KPI is, in this case, it's 75%. And you can see just like the trend. Okay, are we above KPI? Are we below KPI? Just looking at the trend of how we're actually doing, right? Just for simple numbers, book calls, showed calls, show rate, same thing with close rate. So our, let's say our KPI is 25%. We can see the trend of the few weeks here. Same thing with offers, closes, close rate. And then we have offer to close and offer rate. At the bottom, this is pretty nice. Again, very simple, but showing you exactly what's happening, right? So closer one has 100 calls, 70 showed, and his KPI is below, his show rate is below the KPI, right? So I can kind of look at his data and try to compare it with other closers, and I can get the idea of actually what's happening, why they're not closing. Cash per show, like why is this closer, obviously everything is the same, but why is this closer specifically collecting more money on each call they show than this closer? And seeing the relationship. Obviously this is the same data, so I cannot really give you an example, like an exact example, but this is the idea, right? Comparing the performance of each closer and making sure what we do and how we train our sales reps is for the biggest ROI, right? And lastly, in terms of what we have in the tracking systems, obviously appointments, right? So where do people come from? Let me just... Right, so closers have their own logins to a different dashboard where they can resolve those appointments. Again, like I said, it's very dependent on the setup of the company, right? So they use Go High Level. So obviously, I'm going to show you automations in the back end, what kind of goes into it. But you can, everything is connected. There's a relationship between one another. So they can see the lead in the GHL account, right? For example, they can see when was the date of the appointment, who was the setter, who was the closer. Again, this is dummy data, so it's not entirely accurate, but right here, for example, there's supposed to be a lead source, right? And then you just hit resolve and start off, and go in and fill out a bunch of other stuff, right? Because some parts of the process, unfortunately, cannot be automated, mainly due to the fact, if you want to track, for example, like offer rate, offers close, some parts of the entire process has to be sort of manual, but it doesn't really matter because everything is fully accurate through an automation, right? So when you resolve an appointment, just depending on their payment plan or whatever, it creates payments. We also track those payments. So automatically we can see, who's the setter, who's the closer for a specific payment, where they come from, etc. So it's very easy to track commissions if we wanted to, right? Okay, I'm gonna build a new dashboard just specifically for commission tracking, right? Boom, I already have the data, and it's very easy for us to build that type of a dashboard, for example. Now, in terms of automations, what goes into something like this, we have multiple automations that track when there's a new appointment booked. So obviously making sure everything comes through, campaign, Go High Level, etc., etc. And it's just like a daily automation for getting the ad spend. And this is another automation, right? Let me show you what we've did to export the last 12 months of data, and we're good. So obviously we don't use this anymore, but just to give you an idea, we have to build multiple automations to gather or recover the data from the last 12 months and connect it to each appointment
each lead to make sure everything is accurate and is the relationship, right? When we build a dashboard, like you would have to wait 2 months to see, any real results and gather data in the 2 months, right? So what we did here, multiple automations to just gather the data on autopilot and make sure we have something to work with already instead of just waiting 2 months. So yeah, this is about it. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it gave you more clarity into what's actually possible. Like I said before, it's very easy. Overwhelm yourself with all the data that is out there, right? From business ads managers, Google Sheets, CRMs. But when you can create an one centralized place where all the decisions take place and are accurate and like it tells you exactly what you need to know, it's much easier to grow the company predictably, and you're very confident in what you're actually doing. What's the next step, right? Because usually without accurate data, you're guessing, and if you're guessing, you're not going to grow. If you're looking to build a custom dashboard or custom tracking system like this for your company, if you have a sales team in place, there's a button down below to book a call. Other than that, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one. Bye.